All right, welcome back. So I've told a bit of a lie in the title of this video, but that is for a really good reason. This is actually my third ride on the bike, and I wanted to form some good opinions on it. You know, not just taking the first ride and spatting out the first thing that comes to my mind. So I should say before I get into anything else on this, if you haven't seen my other videos, this bike was built from the frame up with mixture of components from a previous bike, some new parts on the way, so it's not, you know, it's not a Vitus Nucleus that you could just go to the store and buy. So we'll start with the area that I'm touching, I suppose, the handlebars. They're Race Face Atlas. They are 780 millimeters wide, which is a good 4 inches wider than what I came from. And I really thought that the bars would feel too wide. But they don't at all. It feels completely natural. I do notice a bit of a slower steering, and that makes perfect sense too. You know, if you think about, well, your hands are in here, any little motion is going to turn the wheel a lot. The farther out they are, you know, the less effect it's going to have. But that's good for stability. So wider bars, shorter stem, 50 millimeters. That feels a little too short to me, even still. I might go a little longer on that. I don't know. I'll keep it for a while. And then going straight down from there is to the fork. It's the same Sun Tour Radon fork that I had previously. And it is also the same fork you would get on a stock top-end Vitus Nucleus. The only difference is that one would come with boost spacing. Wheels, hubs, all the same. New tires, Maxxis Ardent 2.25, mounted up tubeless. They are fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them. They grip really well in the corners. You can just tell by touching them that the compound is a softer, stickier compound than what I came from with the old tires. And they have a more rounded profile to them, which I think helps out in the corners a lot. So from there, I guess we can talk about the drivetrain, which is all the same from before. SRAM NX primarily with the GX crank. And it is just as good as it was, maybe even a little bit better. And the reason that I might say that it's better is, so the chain stays were a little bit shorter on this bike, and the chain previously was borderline being too long. So I shortened it up a little bit. This bike also came with a neoprene chainstay protector, and what all that means is this thing is dead silent. I'll go over these little rock gardens in front of me. You won't hear any noise from that thing. No chain slap, nothing. It's great. And so the brakes are the same Tektro brakes I had previously. I replaced the pads. They were not Tektro OEM pads. And the brake feel, it actually feels like you have to put a little more pressure into them, which to me is actually not a bad thing, because it kind of felt like all you had to do was give a little pressure before and you're locking up. So now there's a little more, you know, ability to modulate with your finger. So for anybody watching this video that's not in Richmond or has never been here, I'm on Belle Isle right now, which is in the middle of the James River, you know, right across from the city. Well, really city on either side of it. And the area I was just in was a little skills park. And there are also some trails that run through the area. And they're a little more fun than I think most people even think about, even people in the area. They're short though, I'll give it that. I mean, you couldn't come out here for a 2-hour ride without, you know, repeating the same spots over and over. So if you've seen my other videos, the main impetus in building up this frame and everything was the fact that I didn't like the geometry of the previous bike. So this one has a steeper head angle, 66.5 degrees compared to the 70-degree head angle on the previous bike. And of course, I'm one of those people that reads all sorts of stuff about bikes and geometry and, oh, the head angle's too steep, it won't climb well. I'm sure you can hear I'm out of breath, but that's just because of me. It climbs fine. So the Brand X dropper seat post that I put on this has been reliable for the 3 rides that I've had it on. But it's a budget model, so I'm not sure how it's going to perform in the long term. But so far, so good. Woo! Yeah. So as I had mentioned, the frame geometry is one of the things that, well, actually the main thing that attracted me to this frame. And the benefits of the slacker head angle are that it's supposed to descend better, be a little more stable. And honestly, I don't notice a massive difference. Maybe if I had the 2 bikes next to each other, I could compare the 2 of them back to back. But at the end of the day, it's still a hardtail aluminum mountain bike. I mean, it maybe gives me a little more confidence, but it's not a massive night and day difference. So let's compare this to the actual Vitus Nucleus VRX that you could go buy right now. You're going to get essentially the same fork. You'll get boost spacing, that's the only difference. You're going to get wheels that are wider. You'll get some different tires. They won't be tubeless, but they're tubeless ready. You will not get a dropper post. You will get a Shimano 1x10 drivetrain that actually has the same gearing ratio as this NX 1x11. And I would say even in some situations, I might prefer a 1x10. And that sounds crazy, but if it's the same high-end, same low-end gear, it means you're gonna have a little bit more space between gears. And if you had a keen ear, when I came right up here, I downshifted 2 clicks. And that's because a lot of times downshifting or upshifting 1, it doesn't feel like a massive difference. So a lot of the time I find myself skipping gears when shifting. And I think with a 1x10 you wouldn't have to do that quite so much. So all in all, I am quite happy with this bike. It's not a massive game changer, but every little bit of it is better than what I came from. And I would say if you're in the market for, you know, a mid-range hardtail mountain bike, this is definitely worth considering. You know, one of the other things to think about is that you're going to be buying it from Chain Reaction Cycles, online retailer. It's not a local bike shop. You're gonna have to set it up on your own or take it to a shop to do it. You're not gonna get free adjustments after the break-in period and all that good stuff. But if you like to do stuff on your own, it's a very good option. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And also if you know somebody that's looking for a budget, or not budget, but mid-range hardtail, you know, share the video with them.